University, I made him a promise. And I made him a promise as an educator and as a man that New York City would be committed to including this in its new curriculum. We are proud to announce that March will be incorporated in our social studies curriculum launching this coming school year. We greatly value the importance of teaching civil rights in our schools, in classrooms, where students actively explore issues of equity, justice, and the ongoing struggle for access and rights as informed citizens. We are a school system that is the largest in the country and the world. We represent 1,800 schools and 1.2 million students. One in about 270 Americans of any age sits in our classrooms. When we teach the civil rights movement, and we teach it right, we're teaching it to a large swath of the American population. We thank our panel for being here today, and I'm going to do some brief introductions for the panel. Co-author Andrew Aiden, an Atlanta native. Andrew grew up reading and collecting comic books. After college, upon taking a job with Congressman Lewis, Andrew learned that civil rights legend had been inspired as a young man by a classic 1950s comic book, Martin Luther King and the Montgomery Story. They discussed the impact that comic books can have on young readers and decided to write a graphic novel together about the civil rights era. There's much more to be said about Andrew, but that set off a chain of events that has led us here. Nate Powell is a New York Times best-selling graphic novelist born in Little Rock, Arkansas. He began self-publishing at the age of 14 and graduated from the School of Visual Arts in the year 2000. In addition to March, he has been a graphic novelist for The Lost Hero, and by the way, those books sit on my shelf at home for my son. You Don't Say, Any Empire, Swallow Me Whole, The Silence of Our Friends, and The Year of Our Beast, and he continues to create more works. His work has received the Robert F. Kennedy Award, an Eisner Award, the Coretta Scott King Author Honor Award, the YASA Great Graphic Novels for Teen Selection, and many other awards. Joining Andrew and Nate on the panel is someone who needs no formal introduction anywhere he goes. He has devoted a lifetime to fighting for justice, equality, access, and human rights for all people, both here in the United States and globally. Born and raised in rural Alabama, today he represents Georgia's 5th district, but his lifetime of work is represented across all 50 states. Every major moment for civil rights, equality, and freedom bears his DNA, his sweat, his work, and frequently his very blood and his own freedom. He is one of the 13 original freedom riders, has served as national chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. At the age of 23, stood on the podium as one of the Big Six at the March on Washington. He led the courageous march from Selma to Montgomery. He has served as director of Voter Education Project and has continued fighting all his life for that most basic and most essential tenet of free societies, the promise of the unobstructed ballot in the hands of every American. He has been at the ear of presidents going back to JFK, moving that needle of justice and equality in the Oval Office, in the halls of Congress, and more importantly, on the streets, on buses, on counters, and across bridges, with the people. And I'll say that again, with the people, with all the people of all backgrounds and all faiths. He has been the recipient of countless national and international honors, including the Presidential Medal of Honor. We are truly humbled to have him here today. To be honest with you, when I let my team and my family know, I told them I've been struggling how to frame the magnitude and significance of his work, the momentousness of his presence, of his humility. I've seen video clips where presidents humbly and keenly listen to every word as he speaks. What do you say to someone that has dedicated his entire life to fighting for justice, for freedom, for equality, for dignity, for humanity? What do you say to someone who answers a fractured skull on Bloody Sunday and meetings on buses with calls for peace, love, and forgiveness, and the creation of beloved communities? What do you say to someone that has stood at the podium of history and justice and marched across bridges of struggle in hopes of finding consciousness on the other side? What do you say to someone who continues to lead by example of the timeless evocation of, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? Who reminds us always to consider those not there, those not spoken for, those not yet included or invited to enjoy the fruits of our country of equality. We say to you, sir, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we promise you as educators in our great city of New York that we will continue to teach the history, the message of civil rights, of equality, of justice for all Americans across our classrooms. On behalf of the Chancellor, on behalf of the New York City Department of Education, on behalf of every educator in this hall, I introduce you, sir, as a living legend, author, congressman, national hero, the Honorable John R. Lewis.